Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have some Christmas trash to treasures, all from the Goodwill. This is a long one, so I'm just going to jump right in. So if you saw my last video, you know that I picked this tree up for 99 cents at the Goodwill. First thing I do is remove the ribbon. I didn't realize that there were holes underneath there, but we'll fix that later. Without sanding or anything, I go in with this apple barrel antique white paint, and I had to give this 2 coats. This green was tough to cover. Now this tree basically stood up on its own, but I picked up this Art Minds wood plaque from Michael's. It was only $1, and I figured it would give the tree a little more stability. I go ahead and paint it with my antique white paint as well. Now once these are dry, I take these Dollar Tree stickers. You get about 12, I think it is. 4 is 8, and 8 and 4, I don't know, 12. And I'm only going to use the snowflakes. I actually needed 2 packs because I'm going to be using 5 in total. I just paint them with a little mixture of water and my Art Minds antique wax. I'm going to be leaving 2 of them in the natural color. I used the same wax mixture for both sides of the tree, you know, the edges. I thought that would be cute. And then I went over the wooden plaque as well. Now, I didn't paint the bottom of the tree. It's not necessary. Nobody's going to see that, and why waste paint? I used this Type On premium wood glue. No particular reason except for the fact that I can't find anything. My house is a hot mess right now. Yes, I am spreading it around with my finger. Sometimes when I can't find my tools, I just have to use a body part. I also use some super glue gel. I like using the combination of both. Super glue gel dries in like 10 minutes. It gives the wood glue a chance to dry, but I can start working on my project sooner. I don't have to wait the 24 hours like I do when I use E6000. So to cover up the holes, I'm going to glue the snowflakes onto the tree using my glue gun. The 2 holes that you see down at the bottom, left and right, I fill those in with some of the Dollar Tree wood filler. I did not film that part. Originally, I was going to cover those holes with some snowflakes, but I changed my mind, as I often do, last minute. But I just covered up those holes and then painted over them. I am so in love with the way that this came out. I totally brought this tree back to this century. It fits my decor style very well, which is very neutral. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I don't like a whole lot of color. I've seen trees like this at Home Goods for about $16.99, and mine cost me $3 to make. Next Goodwill makeover is this Jingle On sign. I picked it up for $1.99. As you can see, I already started sanding it with this Dollar Tree sanding sponge. I was going to be here for 3 years and a day. This wasn't working very well. So I broke out my Ryobi hand sander. It's electric. I mean, it's, you know, you plug it in. Does that make any sense? I love this little thing. I don't know why I don't use it more often. Super convenient and easy to use. Now taking this Varathane wood stain in the color Provincial, I'm going to re-stain this. I didn't like how shiny the original color was. I did want it to be dark, but just not shiny dark, if you get my drift. I didn't remove the handle when staining because it had this clasp that I was never going to be able to put back on. So I set that to the side to dry, and then I take these decorative bells from the Dollar Tree. You get 9 in a pack. I'm only going to use 3, but I figured I would do this to all of them. I found a recipe online for how to make your bells look rusty. It calls for 2 cups of hydrogen peroxide, but I only had 1. And then it also calls for some vinegar. I didn't measure. I think it said 2 tablespoons, but I put 2 and 1 for good measure. I don't know. Some salt. I'm a hot mess. You're supposed to cover all of the bells with this solution. Mine were not completely covered, but I had to go to work, and it was what it was. So I was at work for 8 hours, and when I got home, I found this. Horrific. But look at how these bells turned out. Super rustic. I am so happy with them. If you want to try this, don't get too caught up on measurements. Just throw everything in there. It'll work. Now I'm going to take some Dollar Tree jute twine and I'm going to cut 3 pieces in varying lengths. I didn't want them all the same length and clickety-clacketing all over each other. Remember the click-clacks? Does anybody remember click-clacks? Let me know in the comments. I know, I'm old. Taking a lighter, I just light the end of the jute twine. It just makes it easier to feed it through the top of the bells. And then I just make a couple of knots and cut off the excess, and I do this for all 3 of them. Now, I did not want to glue the bells to the top. I'm lying. I just didn't know really how to place the bells up there. So I just tied it around the top of the handle, and then I took these sprigs. I got this off of a Target dollar spot wreath. I have a lot of them. I really love how real these look. Like, they don't look El Cheapo. You know what I mean? Picked up these small stems. You get 3 for $1 at the Target dollar spot, and they have the little berries on there. So I glued that on it. And then for the finishing touch, Marta finally learned how to make a bow, y'all. Yes, I did. 17 tutorials later. Now, what I didn't learn is how to explain it. I'll leave a link for the video that I think helped me the most when making this type of bow. I will also leave a link for the Etsy shop where I picked up this ribbon. I thought it was beautiful. It looked very vintage, and delivery was super fast. So I take a little bit of hot glue, well, not a little bit, it looks like a glob of hot glue, and I glue it to the very top, and we are done. I am super happy with the way that this came out. Thank you to all of my subscribers that suggested that this jingle on sign should have jingle bells on it. I really love the way the bells look. I think this looks vintage and rustic at the same time, if that can happen, and I'm in love with it. Except for that glob of glue up there that I have to take care of, I'm really in love with it. And we're on to the next one. This wooden roll-in pin cost me $1 at Goodwill. I'm going to stop saying Goodwill. Everything is from the Goodwill. And I printed out a winter scene online. I just, searched winter scene. I cut it down to size. I wanted it to fit over the rolling pin. I did have to cut the top off a little bit because it just wasn't the way that I wanted it. Picked up this transfer paper at a local art store. I don't know, it was close to my job. There are 3 sheets in there, and I guess you could find this really at any art store, Michael's. This is my first time buying transfer paper, believe it or not. So I cut a small piece to fit my printout, and then I tape it to the rolling pin so that I can go ahead and trace it and it won't move around. Side note, the shiny side goes face down. It took me a hot minute to figure that one out. So I trace over the entire scene. I didn't do, a perfect job. I was actually terrified to remove the tape. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to find underneath? But it came out okay. I was very impressed. I did have to go over some of the areas with my pencil again, just to connect some of the lines that I missed, but overall, I think I did a pretty good job. So I wanted to try something new, and I picked up this little cutie on Amazon for $19.95. It's called the Versatool. It comes with 12 different attachments so that you can make all types of different designs, and it also comes with this handy little stand. I'll be using it for wood burning, but you can also do hot knife cutting. So many things you can do with this. This was surprisingly easy to use. This is not a paid promotion or anything like that. I bought this with my own money. Totally obsessed with this thing. I am going to experiment a lot more with it. I just wanted to point out it does get very hot, not the handle, but the actual, the bottom of the tool. And you just have to be very mindful when using it. Don't use it around small children by leaving it, unattended. Even your pets. You really have to be careful when you're using this tool. But I know you know that. My subscribers are smart. Now, as far as the use goes, You see those little dots that I made at the top and over on the left side of this tree? If you press down too hard, that's what you're going to get. This was my first time using it, so I had quite a few of those dots. But all you have to do is just let the tool glide over your surface and it'll do the engraving for you. My recommendation is just to go slow. I sped this up for video purposes, but I really was going very slow. I did not want to get burnt. Now I thought it would be cute to put my husband and my initials on the back, so I just freehanded this. And yeah, PMS, those are our initials, and that's what we're like sometimes when we're together. Apple Barrel Tuscan Red paint. I don't know if it has like a little brown in there. I have no idea. I'm not like a color chart expert, but I do love this color. I prefer it over the bright reds. And I just give the handles one coat each. I am so proud of myself. I really am. I didn't think that I would be able to pull this off. It's my first time wood burning and I am obsessed with it now. I think this would make a great gift, not only for Christmas, but for a birthday. Again, this is something that is totally on trend. I've seen so many of these rolling pins with all the engraving on them. They're really hot right now, but they're also pretty expensive, and this only cost me $1. I don't count the VersaTool because that is something that I'm going to have for years to come, hopefully, unless it breaks down. And then I'll be writing to you, VersaTool. I plan on making some Christmas tree ornaments with this tool, so stay tuned for that. For my last trash to treasure, I will be upgrading this picture that I got at the Goodwill, there I go again, for $7.99. Now, I work at the public library. You would think I work at a thrift store. I'm really very blessed. My coworkers know that I have a channel and they always give me spare things. This is Mikey, and Mikey gave me some wood that was just laying around and he cut it for me, and then I took my Ryobi sander again and I sanded these pieces down. They had a little bit of like a shine to them and I wanted to get them down to the raw wood. Using my favorite stain color, Briar Smoke by Varathane, I go ahead and stain all of these pieces. I recommend using gloves when you're staining because this stuff can get messy. And all I do is use a piece of Peter Parker's old t-shirt. White tees are my favorite things to use when I'm staining. I also recommend covering the surface that you're working with. I'm using a Dollar Tree shower curtain liner. It's only $1 and you can toss it when you're done. So once I'm done and they're all dry, this is what they look like. I don't own a nail gun, and Christmas is coming, so I just may ask for one. But Peter Parker had to help me with this one, and what he did was just put all 4 pieces of wood together. We didn't really film exactly how we did this, but it's pretty simple. You just attach one to the other. He made some pilot holes, and then he went in with some nails. Now, I have to admit, this part was a little crazy. We had to get the picture inside of the wooden frame, and it was a tight fit. Had we had a nail gun, everything would have been much easier to do, but like I said, we didn't. It was frustrating, and Peter Parker and I, well, let's just say that we weren't on the same page. PMS at its best. But in the end, we managed to work through our differences like we always do, and we managed to get the job done.
Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a
So if I loved my picture of this white stitch stag before, I love it even more now. I think the wooden frame around it just gives it something extra. It's, you know, a little more substantial than just hanging a canvas on your wall. I think that we could have probably done a better job at framing it. If we would have had a nail gun, all of this would have been easier, but I absolutely love it. I think it's a great addition to our Christmas decor. You guys know I'm very plain Jane, so I'm not going to be adding any bows or anything to this. It's a statement within itself. This picture is beautiful. I can't believe I found it at Goodwill for $7.99. And when I was hanging this picture, I turned it around and realized that this was originally from IKEA. I picked it up at Goodwill, but they still have it and it's $24.99. A little pricier, but you can still get it if you really, really like this picture. I don't know that I'm going to leave it where it is. I love my mantle the way it looks, but I do think it would look beautiful on a mantle. Next time you're looking for some holiday decor or any decor, don't forget to shop your local Goodwill or your local thrift store. With some paint, craft materials, and a little imagination, you can really transform things into something you love. And don't forget how much money you'll save. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below which one was your favorite, and I will see you guys in the next one.